General Hospital spoilers Thursday, April 17 tease that a new obsession is brewing in Cody's mind as he tries to be there for Molly during her most difficult times. More than just kindness or duty, Cody seems to be developing a special obsession with protecting and supporting Molly, sometimes even going beyond the boundaries of a normal friend. Whenever Molly is in trouble or in danger, Cody is always the first to show up, with a concern that is confusing and sometimes suspicious to those around him. He keeps track of her schedule, shows up, coincidentally, at her regular haunts, and even knows small details about Molly's daily life that even those closest to her would have trouble understanding. Cody's obsession is not only shown through his actions, but also through his eyes and the way he talks about Molly when she's not around. There are moments when he seems lost in his own world, his eyes look far away when mentioning her name, and the way he defends Molly from even the slightest criticism is something that many people notice. Molly's husband, TJ, has begun to feel uncomfortable with Cody's constant presence, but he can't deny that in many situations, Cody has really helped Molly in a timely and effective way. A new story about one of the crazy events is happening as Molly begins to delve deeper into the investigation of Rick and Liz's mysterious accident, an incident that many people have tried to bury and forget. The car accident that happened 6 months ago left many unanswered questions, and although the official report concluded that it was an unfortunate accident, many details still don't add up. With her steadfast nature and sense of justice, Molly cannot ignore the suspicious points in the official report of the accident. She begins to collect evidence, interview witnesses, and look for missed clues, gradually revealing a story that is completely different from what was made public. Molly discovers that the security camera near the scene of the accident was suspiciously disabled just minutes before the accident. Additionally, a key witness suddenly left Port Charles shortly after giving her testimony, and there are discrepancies in the forensic report on the condition of the car. All of these details lead Molly to believe that the accident may not be as simple as it seems, and that there may be some kind of conspiracy behind it. Surprisingly, Cody, who has no clear connection to Rick or Liz, shows a special interest in this investigation, even providing Molly with information that he should not have known. He knew exactly what kind of car Rick and Liz were in that night, knew the details of the route they took, and even knew about a phone call Rick made just minutes before the accident. Information that the police had not made public. Initially, Molly assumed that Cody was simply a good informant, or that he had heard rumors from various sources in Port Charles. However, as the investigation progresses, she begins to realize that Cody's knowledge of the accident is too detailed and precise to be mere hearsay or speculation. There are moments when Cody seems to be trying to steer Molly away from certain aspects of the case, while pushing her to focus on other details, as if he is trying to steer the investigation in a particular direction. One of the new facts is emerging, and this is proving to be one of the new shocks when Molly discovers that Cody may have been present at the scene of Rick and Liz's accident, or at least knows more about it than he admits. Clues slowly begin to emerge: a missing watch found in Cody's belongings, a recording of his voice from the night of the accident, and strange behavior whenever the investigation reaches sensitive details. The watch that Molly accidentally discovered in Cody's apartment was a valuable item that Rick had been wearing the night of the accident, but strangely, it was not listed among Rick's personal possessions found at the scene. When Molly recognized the watch, she tried to find out how Cody had obtained it, but he always had vague and unconvincing explanations, even getting annoyed when she asked too much. The recording was part of an emergency call made the night of the accident, and although the quality was poor, Molly was almost certain that she heard Cody's voice in the background, a detail she had never seen mentioned in any official report. When she confronted Cody about this, he denied it and even became angry, an uncharacteristic reaction for someone as calm as he was. Cody's strange behavior becomes more apparent as Molly begins to approach new witnesses and dig deeper into Rick and Liz's relationship before the accident. On one occasion, Cody intentionally interrupts an important interview Molly is having with a potential witness by creating a fake emergency. On another occasion, he deletes an important text message from Molly's phone when she isn't looking, an act that is fortunately caught by the automatic backup Molly had set up. As Molly gets closer to the truth, her relationship with Cody becomes strained and filled with suspicion. She begins to distance herself from him, withholding information about the investigation, and even secretly monitoring Cody's actions. TJ, noticing the change in their relationship, becomes more involved in the investigation, providing Molly with the support and protection she needs. The tension comes to a head when Molly finds a burned piece of fabric in Cody's apartment that matches the fabric used in the outfit Liz wore on the night of the accident. When confronted with this evidence, Cody finally breaks down and admits that he was at the scene of the accident, but not as the one who caused the accident, but as the one who tried to save Rick and Liz from the burning car. Cody reveals that he happened to pass by the scene just minutes after the accident and tried to help. He pulled Liz out of the car before it completely burned, but was unable to save Rick, who was trapped inside. Rick's watch fell off during Cody's attempt to save him, and he kept it as a reminder of his failure. Cody's reason for not reporting his presence at the scene to the police was that he was intoxicated at the time, and feared that this could get him into legal trouble. He also admitted that he heard screeching brakes and a loud crash before the accident, suggesting that there may have been another car involved, a detail that the police had overlooked in their initial investigation. Cody's confession explained many of his strange actions, but it still left many questions unanswered. Was he telling the whole truth, or was he still withholding important details? And if there was another car involved, who was driving it and why did they flee the scene? As Molly continues her investigation, now with Cody's reluctant assistance, she begins to uncover a complex web of relationships and motives involving Rick and Liz. She discovers that before the accident, Rick had been investigating a case of corruption within the local government, and may have uncovered information that could endanger some of the most powerful people in Port Charles. Was the accident a deliberate attempt to silence Rick? And if so, who was behind it? As Molly and Cody get closer to the truth, they don't realize that every step brings them closer to danger, and that the person behind the accident may not hesitate to do anything to keep their secret. As secrets are revealed, both Molly and Cody will have to face truths that could forever change not only their relationship, but the fates of many others in Port Charles. And in the process, they will also have to face their own secrets and emotions, things that they both tried to bury in the past. It's Dante's birthday, and Sonny is having one of his newfound obsessions with Joe's true identity. Tension is high as Sonny prepares for his son's birthday party, an event that should be filled with joy but is filled with secrets and suspicions that are ready to explode. Sonny discovers clues about Joe's connection to the Quartermain family, especially the unexplainable similarities between Gio and Dante, from personality traits, interests, and even some undeniable physical features. These suspicions turn into a full-blown obsession as Sonny begins to secretly investigate Joe's past, gathering information from every source possible and even hiring people to follow the young man's every move. Each new piece of the puzzle only makes Sonny more convinced that Gio is not simply a member of the Cerullo family as everyone thinks, but perhaps a direct blood relative of Dante, a son, a brother, or something even more shocking. This proves to be one of the new follies in Sonny's complex family relationships as he faces a difficult choice on Dante's birthday. Should he reveal his suspicions and potentially ruin the birthday party, or keep quiet and let the secret continue to slowly erode their relationship? The presence of both Gio and Dante in the same room, on this meaningful birthday, creates an atmosphere of stolen glances, half-spoken words, and tense moments that only Sonny notices. Olivia, always sensitive to Sonny's emotional changes, begins to notice something is amiss when she sees her ex-husband constantly observing Gio and Dante. She begins to question and suspect, adding another layer of complexity to an already tense situation. Brooke Lynn, with her own connection to Gio, also senses the change in the air, but cannot understand why everyone is acting so strangely. As the evening progresses and gifts are given and glasses are raised in toasts, Sonny struggles with the storm of emotions inside. Every smile, every hug, every father-son moment between him and Dante is tinged with the specter of what might be hidden. And when Gio accidentally makes a gesture or says a line too similar to Dante's, Sonny feels like he is on the brink of a revelation that could shake the foundations of his family forever. Marco gives Alexis something to think about, a shocking legal document that could change the entire power dynamic in Port Charles. As Alexis slowly flips through the pages, shock is evident on her face, evidence of wrongdoing and secret dealings by some of the most powerful people in the city, including Diane's closest clients. The story of trouble at Diane's law office is heating up as it becomes more than just a routine ethical breach, but one that could leave many people, including Diane and Sonny, facing serious legal consequences. The documents Marco provides suggest that Diane may have known about Sonny's money laundering activities through legitimate businesses and may have even helped cover up these dealings by creating false legal documents. Worse still, there is evidence that she may have used inside information from other clients to give Sunny a business advantage, in serious violation of confidentiality and legal ethics. One of the new insanities is that Marco has not only revealed this information to Alexis, but has also hinted that he has similar information on many other attorneys and officials in Port Charles. He is quietly building a network of information and influence, using these secrets as pawns in a larger game of power. His ultimate goal is still unclear, but it is clear that Marco is laying the groundwork for a major shakeup in the city's power structure. One of the new flare-ups is one of the new adjustments that is taking place as Alexis is thrown into a dilemma by this information. As a former prosecutor and an ethical lawyer, she feels obligated to do the right thing and bring this information to light. However, Diane is not just a colleague but also a longtime friend, and Alexis knows that going public with this information could not only ruin Diane's career but also have unforeseen consequences for many others, including innocent people. As Alexis weighs her options, Marco continues to execute his plan, approaching many other characters with similar information, creating a complex web of suspicion, fear, and betrayal. No one knows what is real, what is fake, and who is really pulling the strings in this power play. The only thing that is certain is that Port Charles is on the verge of a major storm, and when it hits, no one will be able to escape its effects. Felicia makes a bold offer to Carly, a proposal that could change the course of things in Port Charles. With determination in her eyes and a firm voice, Felicia offers to join Carly in investigating the suspicious behavior of Brennan, a new man in town who has quickly established connections with powerful figures. A new obsession with the new change is playing out in Felicia's mind as she can't stop thinking about the inconsistencies in Brennan's story and the strange moments she's witnessed. Felicia has been secretly watching Brennan for weeks, taking notes of every suspicious move, every secret meeting, and every inconsistency in his story. She has discovered that Brennan has been showing up in unusual places at suspicious times, and that he seems to be gathering information on some of the most influential families in Port Charles, especially the Corinthos and Spencer families. These suspicions have slowly turned into an obsession, causing Felicia to be unable to stop investigating, even when Mac expresses concern for her safety. One of the new shocks of the new obsession is sinking in as Carly begins to connect the dots between what Felicia has discovered and the strange events she has recently experienced. The mysterious phone calls in the middle of the night, the feeling of being followed while walking in the park, and especially the fact that someone has hacked into the Metro Court Hotel's computer system to access the personal information of several important clients. All of these signs seem to point to Brennan, whom Carly initially sees as a normal businessman who has just moved to Port Charles. This puts Carly in a dangerous position when she decides to accept Felicia's offer and investigate Brennan. Not only because Brennan could be a dangerous opponent, but because this investigation could lead her face-to-face with other dark secrets in Port Charles, including secrets involving her own family and friends. Carly knows that once she starts turning over stones in search of the truth, she can't predict what will crawl out from under them. As Carly and Felicia embark on their secret investigation, they have no idea that Brennan is not only watching them, but is aware of their every move. With a cold smile, he watches from afar as the two women inch closer to a secret that could shake the very foundations of Port Charles, a secret that Brennan is willing to do anything to protect, including eliminating anyone who stands in his way. As the pieces of the puzzle begin to fall into place, Carly and Felicia will face a terrifying truth, not just about Brennan's true identity, but about a much larger conspiracy that threatens everyone they love. And as they get closer to the truth, it could cost them their lives. Brooke Lynn and Chase sit down to plan their future, a moment both have longed for after recent events have tested their relationship. In the quiet of their apartment, with flickering candles and an expensive bottle of wine that Chase has been saving for the special occasion, they begin to share their dreams, plans, and desires for their life together. Chase has prepared for this evening carefully, with a list of things they need to discuss, from plans for a new home, to balancing career and family life, to having more children in the future. But the new story of securing one of their new adjustments in their relationship becomes more complicated when secrets from the past begin to surface. Brooke Lynn, smiling nervously, tries to focus on the conversation, but her mind keeps being pulled back to the secrets she has kept hidden for years. Every time Chase brought up the subject of children, Brooke Lynn felt a pang in her heart, a pain she had learned to live with but never really overcome. As the conversation progressed, one of the new shocks about Joe's identity came when Brooke Lynn accidentally mentioned a detail from her past that she had never shared with Chase. During a discussion about expanding her family, Brooke Lynn let slip that she was worried about her ability to be a mother because, the last time, it didn't go well. Chase, who had never heard Brooke Lynn mention any previous experience of motherhood, immediately noticed the oddity of the comment. Brooke Lynn immediately realized her mistake, and tried to redirect the conversation, saying that it was just a figure of speech, that she was referring to taking care of Bailey while pretending to be the child's mother to protect him. But Chase, with his sharp police instincts, immediately realized that something was wrong with his wife's story. He saw real pain in Brooke Lynn's eyes, pain too deep to be a slip of the tongue. Brooke Lynn had mentioned that she and Dante had attended summer music school together as teenagers, and how they had been briefly close before life took them on different paths. Chase, with his sharp police instincts, immediately realized that something was off about his wife's story. He recalled the strange moments of late, the way Brooke Lynn always avoided Gio when Gio and Dante were around at the same time, the way she often watched Gio from a distance with an unreadable look, and especially her unusual reaction when Lois mentioned Brooke Lynn's time at Bensonhurst. Brooke Lynn's dark past was slowly revealed as Chase gently but firmly asked questions, not allowing her to dodge like before. That he recounts the signs he'd noticed, the inconsistencies in her story about her past, and the moments when she'd reacted strangely when Gio was mentioned. Brooke Lynn, feeling cornered, finally admits that she'd had a relationship with Dante years ago when they were both very young, and that it had resulted in a consequence she'd never dared face, a child she'd been forced to give up at birth. She reveals that her mother and grandmother had arranged everything when she was 16 and Dante was just a boy. They said it was for the best, that she had a future ahead of her. Brooke Lynn wasn't even allowed to see her baby. They put her under anesthesia during the birth, and when she woke up, the baby was gone. They told her that an adoption agency had taken her baby, that it would have a better life with another family. Chase listened in horror and heartache, trying to understand the pain Brooke Lynn had endured all these years. But as she continued her story, he began to realize an even more terrifying truth. Brooke Lynn revealed that she had recently discovered that they had lied to her. There had been no adoption agency. They had arranged for the baby to be adopted by another family in Bensonhurst, a family they knew and trusted. And that baby was Gio. This truth was making Chase unable to accept, not because of Brooke Lynn's past with Dante, but because the pieces began to fit together in a terrifying way. The details of age, time, and especially the similarities between Gio and Dante that Chase had once casually remarked on, all led to one inescapable conclusion: Gio was the child Brooke Lynn had given birth to and was forced to give up. Chase stood up, walked to the window and looked out into the Port Charles night, trying to digest all this new information. He felt like his world was falling apart. Everything he thought he knew about his wife, his friends and colleagues, had changed in an instant. Chase, who had always prided himself on being able to uncover the truth and face it, now found himself unable to accept the truth that was before his eyes.